People have often asked about Riffstone, Colin, how that came about.
Yeah, I'm not sure really. I think I asked ChatGPT for some suggestions of names for a new band, and it came up with a few which was totally pretentious and not very good. And it came up with something, with Riff something or other. I can't remember what it was now. But I thought, oh, that's almost there. And then I actually came up with the name myself in the end, Riffstone.
Great stuff. Maybe we could sort of explain why we're literally not in the same room together. We're in separate parts of the world. Where exactly are you speaking from, Colin?
Yeah, I'm in Eccles, which is near Salford, Greater Manchester, northwest.
About an hour across to the west, in Hoylake, in Wirral. Can I maybe ask you just to say a little bit about where you started with music and what your musical inspirations were?
Yeah, but it started when I was quite small, really. It was always a musical household, with music on. There weren't any particular trained musicians in the family, but my father really loved his music and my mother loved singing, so there was always music around. And with the TV, there's people like Cliff Richard and Elvis Presley on the TV. I was told that I used to grab my little wooden guitar and stand in front of the TV pretending to be Hank Marvin or somebody. And it's basically started from there, and I gradually got guitars, learned how to play it, taught myself, and then wanted to play music with other people. So it spread out from there, and with the advent of the internet, it became an even bigger reality. I was able to actually collaborate with people around the world, which when I first started doing that, involved a group of people which we call Whatever the Majority Decides, which had people from Germany, from America, Greece, Norway, Israel, everybody's together. So we never actually met up, although I did meet Martin, the German guy, once when I was working in Germany. And we enjoyed making music together, and even produced a whole album, a nice progressive album called The Fool's Tale, that's still available on Bandcamp. And from there I did other collaborations, particularly with a guy called Doug Woods, who runs his own YouTube channel, The Sound Test Room. He reviews iPad apps mainly, but also other types of music apps. And he's a very accomplished musician himself. He used to run a studio in Spain, and we've done 24, 25 albums together.
Wow.
I'm well used to working remotely with people and not meeting up. We only met up with him twice when I was on holiday. More recently, Dave Hilborn asked me to play on Nova Cascade's last two albums, The Navigator and The Box Band, which was really an enjoyable experience. And I also now have my own radio show called Prog Alchemy, which goes out on One World Music Radio and Epic Prog Radio, and a Prog Alchemy Facebook group to accompany the show.
How did A Multitude of One come about, Colin? Where did that all come from?
Yeah, well, because I was working with lots of other people, before I even did that, I had a couple of solo projects. I first started out with Alter Ego UK, and I did an album of fairly sort of new agey, mystical stuff, and then I decided to have a change of name because there were quite a lot of alter egos about, and Alter Ego UK sounded a bit clumsy really. And I sat down and thought, what could I call myself? I'm a one person, but I'm doing lots of different styles because I don't focus just on progressive music, I do all sorts. And I thought, well, a multitude of styles, and there's one of me, a multitude of one, so I call myself A Multitude of One.
Brilliant. Great name. I started very similar, actually. I can remember as a really small lad, I think I was 10 or 11 years old. My sister had a party in the house, and one of her friends brought an acoustic guitar along, and they were all running around the place, and they'd left me in the same room as this Spanish guitar, and I remember sitting on the floor and playing a little tune without being able to hold the guitar, because I didn't even know that at the time. And I remember announcing to everybody that I've just written a song, and I dragged them all in, and I was playing the guitar on the floor. And I think, like you, that was just the inspiration then to get my own guitar. And I recall my dad spending £6, I think it was, buying an acoustic guitar from Woolies that had steel strings that cut my fingers to bits. And that was my introduction into it.
My first guitar, I think it was 6 guineas from a mail order catalogue, and really it was.
I originally hailed from South Wales, Swansea, where I was born and brought up, and there was a vibrant music scene in the sort of late 60s, 70s in Swansea. So I naturally, as I was growing up, got really drawn into that, that wonderful Welsh prog scene as well, early prog scene that just captured the imagination. But like everybody who's interested in prog, I think I was weaned on Yes and Genesis, and particularly in my case, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and that was all very, very instrumental in me starting to form my own ideas of what I wanted to write. It was around 2019. I was trying to think back when I'd started putting together our first collaboration, which was Richard III, and that all stemmed from a very special birthday for my wife Jill, and I wanted to do something a bit different. So rather than just coming up with a prezi, I thought I would write a few songs about her favourite subject, which was Richard III, and started to put a few tracks together, not with any aspirations of doing anything with it other than to give her a CD on her birthday and say, there you go, that's something rather unique and special for you, which she enjoyed. But the process of doing it was great, and I thought, it'd just be wonderful if I could at some point in the future do something with it. But then when COVID came along in 2020, that changed everything for me. Work stopped, and I set up the studio here, and that's when I created the identity of Spyrogy, which is a one-man band really in terms of writing and producing. But if I may, I'll just say that I was listening, and I'm trying to remember exactly what the circumstances were. It might have been Sean Geraghty's The Prog Mill, it might even have been Keith Quinnell on his show, that I heard your album, A Templar's Tale. Before I sort of say a little about that, tell me about A Templar's Tale, because that's a terrific album.
Yeah, it's an album that I've wanted to make for quite some time. I've always been interested in legendary tales and medieval times, Arthurian things, that type of thing, and also the Knights Templar as well. So I thought it would be nice to be able to do a whole album about them. So it was quite the journey, really, sort of researching them, found out a few bits and pieces that I didn't know about them. Yeah, put them all into an album that came together very, very quickly. So it was also an experiment in a way at going through the whole process and applying what I'd learnt over the years in terms of mixing and mastering as well, and actually the whole recording process. Plus, I'd just changed from using iPad primarily to using a Mac. So moving to a different recording software. So it was an exercise in learning how to use that as well.
Yeah, and it's a huge learning curve. I know I went through a very similar thing in a different direction because I'm a PC man rather than a Mac. But it's fascinating. I can't remember what the date was, you'll remind me, but I was listening to one of the prog stations, I think it was Sean's, and your Templar's Tale came on, or one of the tracks from the Templar's Tale, with the narration. And the alarm bells went off in my head, and I thought, whoa, this is great. This is exactly what I'd envisaged when writing Richard III. And so for a couple of days, I think I'd sort of pondered the idea. I wonder how could I, reach out to you and see whether it might be something of interest. And then I think I sent you a message and said, would you be up for a chat about doing a project together?
Mhm.
And I was so pleased that you agreed to do that, because it was literally just the foundations of the album. And then when the two of us started working on it, it took proper shape, and really proud of the end result. And you did the narration.
Yes, indeed. That was allowed me to do a little bit of putting on my Shakespearean actor voice.
That was
Yeah.
good. What were your thoughts when I contacted you?
I thought, that's great, that's right up my street. I'd love to have a go doing that. I love doing collaborations with people, and the subject matter was really interesting. So yeah, we've got very similar interest, both musically and intellectually as well, I think. So it's we fit together quite well on that front.
Absolutely, definitely. Interestingly, after the process of writing Richard III, I think both of us had so many ideas and material left over. Our next enterprise, which of course was Sanctuary Sky, almost completed itself from all the material that we'd written. But the concept of Sanctuary Sky was slightly different. Could you give us an idea of what was behind that, our tie-in with that?
Yeah, well, I think that Richard III was obviously a historical document, if you like, outlining the history of and the life of Richard III and events. And Sanctuary Sky was more a look at spaces, particularly mystical spaces, I think, and frames of mind. So it was quite a different subject matter, but again something that is quite dear to both of us.
Yeah, wizards and demons, and
that's right, and the other world and that type of thing. And as you say, it came together very quickly. It was almost written before Richard III came out, as seems to happen with a lot of our albums. We seem to be almost finished the next one before we publish the latest one, which is why we're so prolific. The albums come out very quickly. So it was an interesting contrast from Richard, but was very well received. I think one of the things we've been very lucky about is being able to have favourable reviews in Prog magazine for each of our albums so far, which is quite amazing for a small enterprise that doesn't play live anywhere.
Independent, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Really excited about that, and blown away that people like it. Interestingly, I think Sanctuary Sky started to form what I would call our quite unique Riffstone style now, which isn't you, it isn't me. It's quite a natural combination of what we were both doing, and I think quite original, which is why I think it's picked up interest from the prog community. It isn't just one particular genre. I think we've taken it in a rather unique direction, which I'm really delighted with. Obviously, from Sanctuary Sky, we recently released Mythical Creatures, and I think that was my brainwave of I had so many ideas after Sanctuary Sky of these mythical creatures that we were talking about. Wouldn't it be great if we could put an album together that talked about each of those creatures in turn and told a tale? What were your thoughts on Mythical Creatures?
Yeah, again, it's a subject that's always been interested in, medieval bestiaries and things like that, with all strange animals, and obviously tales from mythology and legend as well. And it really fit with what I'm interested in writing music about. And I was also interested in exploring the psychological aspects of the different creatures as well, which is something we touched on really in Sanctuary Sky, looking at the psychological symbolism of some of the spaces we talked about. Each album we've done so far has been more challenging musically as well, so it's always good to keep stretching yourself, and that stretched us a little bit further.
Yeah, I do love time signatures that vary from minute to minute.
Right.
It's the beauty of progressive rock music, that you're really free to explore all the various different emotions that come into you. It's not just about the vocals and the lyrics. It's all about the musical experience, isn't it? In my personal opinion.
And yeah, and that really leads us on to our latest album,
And this is called
Great Journeys.
Great Journeys. The first track on the album, of course, being the Orient Express. Great place to start because being one of the most legendary great journeys, the long distance passenger service, symbol of golden age of luxury travel. And I think you'll probably correct me with this, Colin, but I think it was launched in 1883 by a Belgian company.
Correct, yeah. Mm. Yeah, and it was meant to be the height of luxury.
In fact, I think they called it the Train of Kings.
Yes, indeed.
But musically, I think it was a great song to start the album off. It set the tone, especially at the very beginning with the steam train. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, the idea obviously is to give the impression of actually being on the journey. So, leading in from the train sounds, the drum beat sounds a little bit like the train tracks, and it propels itself along through some of the locations along the route from Paris all the way to Constantinople, or Istanbul as it is now.
And for me, my introduction to the Orient Express was Agatha Christie with Murder on the Orient Express, and then, of course, From Russia with Love.
Yes, indeed.
James Bond, absolutely iconic.
And it even makes an appearance in Bram Stoker's Dracula as well.
Great start to it. And then we followed that up with The Silk Road. Mm-hmm. And that was interesting. I didn't know much about the Silk Road. Could you just explain a little bit about what that was for you, Colin?
Yeah, I mean, it's another very long journey, quite a lot older than the Orient Express, and it was a way of trade and spreading of ideas. Originally from China to Rome for the Roman Empire, and also back the other way as well. And it wasn't just one particular road or route, there were several routes, including by sea. We just followed a generic route, if you like, from China to Rome, stopping off at some places along the way in parts of India and Afghanistan, places like that.
Didn't it have a lot of religious connotations as well, religious connections? I understand Buddhism was spread via the Silk.
Yeah, but lots of ideas and different cultures generally, and was spread over the Silk Road, not just a trade of silk and spices and glass as well from the Roman Empire. It was complete cultural opening up and sharing.
And I think challenging musically as well.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's allowed me to experiment with some harmony layers, going to ranges that I didn't think I could reach.
Excellent, absolutely, really good.
And then it explores several other types of journey as well.
If I can just take us on then to the next track, which is unusual really for us. I think it's only the second time we've done an instrumental. It's called The Himalayas, which doesn't really need an awful lot of explanation, other than, of course, it's a mountain and it's the highest mountain in the world. One of the things that people strive to be able to achieve, and I guess that in a way is inspiring, that musically we were able to paint that kind of inspiration, that excitement and achievement of being able to reach the highest peaks.
Yeah, and I think it was generally speaking your musical ideas with the climbing guitar melodies and things, as though it's climbing up a mountain. And my take on it is it's like a journey for a personal conquest, if you like, to be able to achieve something which is at first thought to be unachievable, but you strive on and you manage to get to the top of it, and the exhilaration felt when you get there.
Yeah, I was pleased. Interestingly, we don't normally go down the route of instrumental, but I feel this one worked, and it complements the album in that it's painting more of a musical picture for what we wanted to achieve, rather than just through the lyrics. That's great. And our next on the album is Camino de Santiago. Now, this was a new one on me, Colin. So I'm going to ask you to explain a little bit about this. What is the Camino?
Yeah, I've come across it quite a few years ago. I had an email about an invite to actually go on it through some of my contacts, and it's actually a Christian spiritual pilgrimage that follows its way through mainly through Spain, I think, but in France and Portugal. There again, there's not just one particular route, but the main route is the one that we followed in the music. All the routes end up at the same place, Camino de Santiago,
which is the northwest Spain. Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela.
Compostela, that's the one, yes. And it's quite an arduous journey, but people still undertake it today. It was obviously done in times of Christian pilgrimage in medieval times, but also, it's still very popular today. And one of the symbols that people use to either say they've actually done that or they're actually undertaking it is the scallop shell.
And so people wear the shell.
They wear the shell, or some of the ways that the signposts have the shell on it and things as well. So it's like a little logo, if you like, and it mentions the shell in the song as well in the lyrics. Just in case you're wondering why I started talking about seashells.
Just a whole new level of interest when you dig into this. So I'm hoping that will stimulate people who are listening to the record as well, that they see there's quite a lot of history and depth and research that's gone into this. Well done on it, Colin. That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I hope the music really actually leads the listener on in the mind's eye, actually undertaking the journey themselves as we actually sing about it or play about it.
After the Camino de Santiago, we've got the South Pole. And that, again, doesn't really need an enormous amount of explanation. But this is a track that you wrote, I believe. This was your idea from start to finish, and you've done all the instrumental on it as well.
Yeah. It was, again, it's a journey that when I started thinking about great journeys, South Pole and the exploration around it came to mind. And I wanted to convey the vastness of it, the desolation, and the fact that it's not always an enjoyable journey. It's a feat of endurance, and people often have second thoughts, which can be a little bit fatal while you're actually undertaking that journey. So the lyrics can get a little bit dark in places about people thinking, have I done the right thing? Should I give up? Should I just lie down and become part of the snow type of thing? So it's
dramatic, isn't it?
It's dramatic in a way. It's one of the longest songs on the album as well.
I love the fact that when you get to the actual epicenter of the only way you can go is north. That sort of tells you exactly where you are on the world.
That's right.
Great. Unusually, we collaborate. I think it might be worth just mentioning about our style of playing and recording and how we work together. Because in the main, we tend to come up with ideas individually and then share them and develop those songs so they become a Riffstone collaboration, then, if you like. But there are a few songs on this album that you literally took as far as it could go. It didn't really need any further additions. That was a little different for us, but really refreshing that we've got that ability.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that sometimes you come up with an idea fully formed almost, and it doesn't necessarily need anything else adding to it. So rather than over-egg the pudding, sometimes it's best to leave it as it is, I think. And I'm very grateful that you're agreeable to that from some of the songs.
Absolutely. I think that's what's nice about our collaboration, Colin, is that we're both fully appreciate, I think, what each of us bring to the table, and I'm very excited by the songs that you've written. And I didn't want to add, if you remember, we had a conversation about them, and I said no, I don't want to add anything to this at all. It's already there, which was great.
Yeah,
That
although
was the
people
sense.
say though the majority of the ideas for all the albums so far have actually come from you, and I tended to elaborate and add little bits here and there. So it makes a change to actually have a full contribution.
Absolutely. No, that was great. Interestingly, The Voyage of the Beagle is the next song on the album. And that was actually the last thing, I think, it was the last thing that we brought to the table for the album. It was just a song idea that I think I came up with that resonated, and we decided to add to the record, which is quite interesting, really, because one of the things I've always been interested in is the journey of Darwin and the Galapagos, and the whole story behind the evolution story. Then, if you like, what was your thought on that when I brought that one to the table, Colin?
It's one that I hadn't thought about myself, but I was quite pleased you had included it. I remember learning about Darwin's journeys and evolution and things when I was studying biology at school. And it brought it all back, and doing the research on it as well, it made it really interesting.
Well, one fact that I think struck me was that it circumnavigated the world. And so it wasn't just about going to, and of course the exciting discoveries that Darwin had made, and then subsequently, of course, it's gone into folklore, the journey to the Galapagos and so on, what he came back with. But as a journey, it was an epic journey around the globe. So that's what inspired me in terms of the story behind the Voyage of the Beagle.
Yeah, and it was quite interesting, the fact that something I didn't know was that journey around the world was actually a book published 20 years or so before he actually produced On the Origin of Species. So he obviously learnt everything, and it took him quite a while to actually conceptualize exactly what his theory was, and then when he produced it, that's what he's famous for now, his Origin on Species.
But interestingly, an interesting travel guide prior to that.
Indeed, yeah.
Which was great. Now that was followed by Mariana, and this conjures up so much intrigue for me. This again was, I believe, something that you'd sort of it was your idea to start off with. Tell me about Mariana and the Mariana Trench then, from your point, Colin.
That's right, because when we talk about journeys, particularly journeys of discovery, there are a couple of different ways you can go. You can go around, you can go up, you can go down. And this one was about going down into the depths of the oceans, which we know obviously very little about, less than we know about the moon. And there's still lots of mysteries hidden down there. And I'm always fascinated when I see footage of the deep sea creatures that appear that are really strange looking. And
aliens.
The fact that life can survive in such inhospitable circumstances, which gives promise to finding life on other planets as well. So I thought it'd be nice to undertake our own little journey down to the deepest part of the Pacific Ocean, the Mariana Trench.
My little observation on this, somebody said that you could drop the Himalayas into the Mariana Trench and it would still be a mile to the surface.
Indeed.
Which sort of puts it into context how deep that is.
Yes, it's a long way down.
And the pressures on people. Great, really inspired by that music. It was so iconic, really, to painting a picture of the depths. Now, after the Mariana was another of your soul contributions on this record, which is Red Horizon. Could you explain a little bit about Red Horizon?
Yeah, so this was the journey up. The Mariana was a journey down below, and this is a journey space. But obviously, there aren't any manned missions to Mars at the moment, so it's a journey of fantasy. And in my mind, I had the 1950s style sci-fi journeys into Mars in mind when I wrote it, and I just thought it'd be interesting to undertake it musically and lyrically, to actually take the listener on a journey to Mars and some of the things that they encounter en route, and the sense of exploration again.
and right up my street. I love the whole idea and the whole concept of space travel. And Elon Musk is pushing the boundaries at the moment to try and make that happen. Absolutely fascinating, and again, for me, one of the highlights of the record. And that brings us to the very last track on the album, Colin, and it's called "The Maps Are Fading to White." Again, intriguing that it encapsulates the whole idea of great travel and journeys.
Yes, it's really about traveller looking back on his life that's been well lived and all the different journeys he's undertaken, and preparing for his final journey, knowing that he can't go on any other journeys now apart from the final one to his resting place. So it's meant to be a warm, reflective track, really. So he's reminiscing on his life and everything that he's done. So I think it makes a nice end to the album.
Appropriate ending, absolutely.
We started out on a train journey from the station, and we've ended up reflecting on all the journeys we've undertaken since.
And we're also producing a limited edition CD with, I think it's fantastic that you've come up with the idea of a very old book, leather-bound book with all the journeys, and I love that. That's great stuff.
Yeah, and the people who download from Bandcamp will also get an actual photo album of us undertaking the journeys.
Made me smile. Brought a smile to my face. You could have actually taken a few years off the photograph, Colin, but I'll let you off. Just wanted to say big thank you, and so enjoying the collaboration between the two of us. And it doesn't end with great journeys. I think the journey continues with new and other ideas that are coming together for another concept idea.
Let's just say we're already at work.
We're already at work.